playing.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Steam for Sunday, October 29th. This is Ramon Scott. I'm coming to you from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. Thank you for joining me here on an NFL Sunday following last night's thrills and excitement. Game 2 of the World Series goes to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They even up the series. They've got the home field advantage now from the Texas Rangers. The road team wins another game. We know it was a split there in Arlington, but the Diamondbacks have the advantage right now, heading back home with a 1-1 series at the World Series. And also last night, how'd you guys do with the fight? Did you guys take interest in Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou? No gimmick. This was a good bout. Yeah, maybe an exhibition to a certain extent. It was a sanctioned bout. Heard a lot of debate on that, but they found a sanctioning body. There's no doubt these two guys were in there uh, sparring to a certain extent, but also in a real boxing match, and Francis Ngannou was the real winner of the fight. Uh, Not arguing the scorecards or saying that he even won this fight. Maybe Fury did win a split decision just barely. He may have won more rounds, considering how the fight went. Did Ngannou knock Fury down? Yes, of course he did. Did Ngannou look every bit the part of a professional fighter and Fury over the hill? Yes, very much so. Ngannou comes out the big winner in the public eye. No stain on Fury socially or anything like that, other than these guys taking the Saudi money. But it's going to be tough to ignore in the future. These guys are ready to go in the world of sports. It's just something we're going to have to come to terms with and try to work on socially in the world, right? I mean, that's what you do. People have similar interests long term. You just got to try to find your differences and gaps and work together to find common ground. Try to do things, more respectfully of one another. But where there'll be more sports in uh, uh, UAE, Saudi Arabia, all these places, and we saw just a huge star-studded turnout last night. These guys know, these folks know how to put on a show, and a show it was. So definitely for Ngannou, not only now can he look forward to trying to get his PFL wherever that stands, because he's got a contract there and they're trying to get that organization going. And but all of a sudden he's thrown himself into the ring as a potential suitor for a couple of the other top heavyweights in the world, with huge, more millions of dollars payday for a man who came from very, very sparse beginnings. So for Ngannou, he looks like a champion following the fight last night. I don't know, I was on one of those streams. I made my pick. I said Fury by decision at 5.5 to 1. Scored that on the record on a live show. Made that call, and it was, other than the World Series, probably the featured event of the night. College football. Everyone said it would be a lackluster day with that card. How did you guys fare in that? Let me say hello to everyone and welcome to the morning steam. Blake is here today. Join me in the Discord and all of our uh, crew that goes in there. We're not too busy in there, but still giving out information. Put the notifications on. Hello to Ferner today. Here, Chad's here today. Had a big day yesterday, including some parlays. I'm felt like I was just churning along yesterday. It was maybe a little too overwhelming for me yesterday with that big card and coming off a little bit of a lack of confidence the night before. But NFL Sunday, man, this is a big day and a huge card of 15 games. Let's not bury the lead here today. Just because all those games were yesterday, we're here to talk NFL football. I'll be previewing the late games, the late slate. We've talked about the early games already, seeing moves come in here, and we'll also talk NBA basketball, NHL hockey, and whatever else you might have in mind. Sunday, you think about in years past, Sunday night. It's been reserved for, yeah, going up against Sunday night football. But Major League Baseball has played Sunday night World Series games. I don't recall if this started last year or two. The years run together, but I do know that Sunday night was always a big night in the World Series. But we've adjusted. Maybe that's by plan. Final. And let's go maybe over to Tony'sPicks.com. I said hello to everyone, including Munchie and Doubles and Sakori and Jacoby. And I'll be on a little later today as well at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, the 40,000 subscriber juggernaut, as we get ever so close here to that number for Tony. Join you with the opening line report for college football next week. So if you're watching NFL, get that notification. Join me here in 4 hours or so, 5 hours or so, and I run down the lines for next week's college football, giving the first line moves out of the gate. What a day it was yesterday with a lot of the games. If you went to bed late, if you couldn't get the game, I know that some of the streaming sites picked it up, but it wasn't a network game at all. And Hawaii, one of the rare teams, like you go on there, there's an app on your phone you can get to get that Hawaii game late. And Hawaii ended up rolling last night, or not Hawaii, of course, San Jose State ended up rolling Hawaii for an easy cover. So if you went to bed before that midnight special yesterday, San Jose wins. Late games, big games yesterday. Texas continues to roll. They beat up on BYU, Ohio State. With their win, K-State rolled over Houston. Other big games, Notre Dame, they continue to rock. Georgia, hey, remember when Florida led 7-0? Georgia still in position. We'll see what happens this week. Who do you got in the top four? Who's your top four? We know, obviously, the top two we feel pretty secure with. And then after that, we're kind of bouncing four teams around. Could Ohio State be left out right now of the top four? We'll see. Thank you, Blake, for saying what I always forget to say. West Coast action last night. It was UCLA rocking Colorado in the second half after leading just 7-6 at halftime. Arizona State upset Washington State. It was in that game between USC and Cal. What a thriller, huh? We said USC up against it to be such a large road favorite, and they were not focused to cover any kind of double digits there necessarily, right? UNLV and Fresno turned out to be a fun one. How about Oregon rocking Utah? Too good for that defense. So where does Oregon stand in the Final Four as well? Northwestern shocked Maryland. Nebraska rolled. Penn State had issues. They barely could get by Indiana yesterday. Oklahoma and Kansas survived that weather delay yesterday. And Kansas, they kept coming down the field. Wild one there. North Carolina and Georgia Tech. Maybe that was the game of the day, right? For as far as the thrills are concerned, Duke quarterback out, quarterback in, didn't matter. No points. Louisville impressive in a shutout win. Virginia and Miami. Miami, bumbling, stumbling, fumbling along. Florida State looks good, I think, for Florida State right now in that top four. How can you not at this point with Florida State rolling? Sure, they're playing easy opponents, they're covering numbers. That's all you can do, of course. And Blake is here. Hey, he promoted the show. Why not I talk about the Vols and Kentucky? Tennessee got the money. They're not, overwhelmingly convinced. Whatever they did, they got it. They did it. And I think, what was it, a 6-point win there, Blake, yesterday. So, all right, you guys, that's a preview. That's a review, a preview. I don't know if you want to go over the other, college football, obviously big, but we're get ready for that first introduction of the rankings. Yesterday, boy, I thought we did well. Hockey picks on the show did well yesterday, no doubt. We had the Ducks yesterday. We had Nashville. We had Ottawa and Pittsburgh over. Um, Maybe mixed results, but had a premium winner there. But basketball, let's get to work on that here. Might need some help. Doubles. So, hey, don't forget. Yeah, how about the game tonight in Edmonton? Or I say tonight. I should say, yeah, tonight. Today for me, I think 4 o'clock. But should be brisk weather, I understand, but they'll play it in Commonwealth Stadium tonight. Calgary and Edmonton. And how will that one go? An outdoor game tonight, and this should be a great setting, a classic stadium up there. Not a new stadium. Yeah, they've renovated or whatever, but Commonwealth Stadium hosting Calgary and Edmonton tonight in the outdoor classic. NBA late games last night. I don't know if you were. I thought, yeah, good card yesterday, but I could use some help, you guys, on NBA. So get ready, get your pens, pencils, and scorecards ready. Let's go over to Tony'sPicks.com and see who did well yesterday. Then we'll get the show going here, preview those late football. Giants have 4 NFL previews. You got some other questions. Maybe we went over the injury report with Shefty here. We'll see what's going on the injuries, but let's take a look at Tony'sPicks.com. And it was Tony T. Why wouldn't it be? It's his website, it's his channel, it's his network, it's his world. Tony T. 5-2 yesterday. It's coming in at 71%. So great job, Tony. Plus 288. Ben Ruhala, 7-5. Looks like a little bit of slim pickings in college football for the crew. Here's Daniel Woloschuk, 2-1. Joe Schultz, 2-1. Ronnie Crawford there, 3-2. Nick Bartini, 3-2. Sean Dinwiddie, 5-4. So you already see the crew. I know I was a little bit heavy and just couldn't find any rhythm yesterday, and just like I said, maybe an overwhelming card for me. Was coming in with some late action. I was trying to, coming off a rough one, trying to solidify, making sure I had the right plays, and I don't know, is paralysis by analysis. Let's get the winners today. Last 7 days at the site. Hats off to some of our new handicappers, including Chauncey Giles, 22-9 over the last 7 days, plus 1183. Eli Richards, 10-2, plus 785. Tony T, 15-7 mark here, 69%, plus 753 units over the last 7 days. Daniel Woloschuk, 8-3, nearly 5 units of profit. Marlo Pettis, 67%. We've seen Marlon on his videos, so check him out on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Marlon's coming in with videos here, so much respect to you, Marlo, and thank you very much for your participation and joining Tony's Picks. And best of luck to you with a record like that. I'm sure things will go well. Over the last 30 days here at the site, it's Hollywood Sam. He's up 31 units over the last 30 days. Your mileage may vary, but for dime players are up over $30,000 over the month with Hollywood Sam. And Chauncey Giles, 47 and 29 for plus 16 units. Joseph Schultz, he's up there as well, 56%, 15 and a half units. Ben Ruhala's up over 14 units, and Daniel Walasachuk as well. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Click on the Premium Picks tab. There you'll find our best picks for today. I'm going to give you free winners today here on the show, and you're going to give them back to me, I hope. But hopefully we'll get together and some free picks here. But if you do want our crew's best picks, including mine on Sunday, head on over to Tony'sPicks.com. Click on the Premium Picks tab. You see 3-packs, 5-packs, 7-packs from our team of handicappers today, including Tony T, a 3-pack in the NFL. Daniel Walasachuk's got a 5-pack of NFL plays. Nick Bartini's got a couple of packages lined up in the NBA and NFL. Tiffany Mance has NFL 7-pack ready and available. Ron Crawford, 3-pack in the NFL. Collins Brown, also a 3-pack today, and a 5-pack as well for the early games. Nick Lagaretos is involved in the soccer card today. Check out some of the action today. Ron's also involved. We've got action from France, Monaco and Lille. We've got the Manchester Derby. Can United bring back the glory against City? Italian League, you've got Roma and Inter. Hey, check out some of our other packages, including those from Mindy and I. We both have a 7-pack today, and I've got this 7-pack of early games. There's 9 games in the early window, and this is NFL action. I'm coming in with a volume. Don't look for me to get one play to put your big chunk of money on. We're playing the landscape. You can't go 7-0 with 2 plays. So let's roll this early window 7-pack today for just $30 and use the promo code TonyT at checkout. You want to experience Ramon Scott's picks? Hey, he's so big, he talks about himself in the third person. So check out this 7-pack today. Early games, I'll have a 3-pack, I believe, in the late games. Then I'm going to have a night card and probably going to incorporate a little bit of the other sports. This is NFL Sunday, so that's where my focus is. That's where my most researched handicaps were. Yeah, I do have I believe at least one play in the NHL, maybe 1 or 2 we'll see in the NBA, but easier to manage this card today right now than maybe it was for me yesterday. So grab this 7-pack with me this morning, or I say morning, you say afternoon on the East Coast. These are the 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. window today. All right. Thanks for listening, folks. I'll just say hello to a few more folks and then we'll preview some games. Let's see who we've got. I want to say hello and welcome to Derek Williams here today. Gerardo's here today as well. And Nicholas Handy. We were hanging out somewhere, I think, in some chat rooms across the sports YouTube. All right. I think we're ready to roll here with some action for Sunday in the NFL. Well, let's run over the game, the other game, maybe the early games real quick. On the card, like I said, 9 games in the early window. We have seen some news come down so far today. Here comes Ferner with he'll put his picks in already here a little bit. So just, maybe checking to see where we stand on some of these injuries. New Orleans Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas is questionable today with an illness. That may be one that kind of stood out. We saw, of course, news yesterday. Well, I guess those are late games. We'll kind of can wait a little bit on that. We'll come back to that, but Just want to see. I don't know if there's anything really breaking enough in these early games. Let's see what you guys have. Blake says he's one unders. Let's get started. Let's get started. Yeah, I want to talk a little early action. Right now is a chance here to maybe run over a few plays. We previewed them earlier in on Thursday. We talked about the 9 early games. So Berner likes the under in this one with the Patriots and the Dolphins. We know the Dolphins here, uh, down to just a 8.5 or 9 point favorite, where it opened as high as a 12 or 12.5 on the look aheads. Probably, with hello to Frederick here today as well. But just the way things have gone, the Patriots had a good game. Maybe they're getting it turned around just a little bit. All right. You guys come back to it if you want. I'll just start with my afternoon coverage here with two defenses that are really, we know the Browns statistically one of the best defensive teams in the league, and that's what's made them the contender that they are coming into the season. Browns, everyone kind of saying, hey, maybe the Browns can finally, with uh, Watson in there and whatnot. But it hasn't necessarily worked out with Watson all the time because of his injury. And now you look at this afternoon's game and Walker likely in there again. So, what will that mean for the Browns here necessarily in this one on the road against the Seahawks? You guys are already coming in, maybe here, Seahawks for Jacoby already. How about that? So the Browns won a couple of they're coming off a couple of close victories, no doubt about it. And you see this total here, pretty reflective of what we've seen with talking about these two defenses being so solid. And we know Cleveland, right? I mean, their defense, but it's Seattle, the team that maybe their defense, I don't know about overlooked or what, but now you look at how statistically they are starting to compare with other teams. And further here on the under, Seattle's won and covered 4 of their last 5 games. Um, all of a sudden, things are looking, pretty good for the Seahawks. Blake says Watson will never, yeah. Well, and could he have ever? I mean, other than winning a bowl, right? I mean, when you're talking about a contract like that, and I love it when Thomas's phone says things incorrectly and it makes funny sentences. And Double says, just roll with underdogs today. Why not? And why would you want to trust Seattle as a home favorite here? To me, right? I mean, okay, sure. Walker. Look, did when Watson was in, was anybody really saying, "Hey, we really want"? Now I know we have Cleveland folks in here. Sometimes Cleveland folks stop by and say hi, but could any Cleveland fan necessarily really say that they would prefer to have a guy in there like Watson over PJ Walker at this time? I don't think so. I mean, I was like, you don't want to root for an injury, but uh, when Watson went down, he was kind of sitting there with his legs stretched out. He wasn't in pain, he was in pain probably in some way, but uh, the way he was sitting, you're like, why wasn't Walker in here anyway? It it almost felt like a little bit selfish. Like Watson, there's pressure, and when Watson came out this week and said, "Hey, um, I'm. Do you think I want to miss time? I've worked very hard and put all the other stuff aside, put all the jokes aside, and all that. Remember coming back from a serious injury here. Now, you can say what you want about players who might be soft, might be injury prone, might be willing to say, "Hey, I don't know, I'm injured. Let's take myself out of the game." But I don't know right now. Walker can manage a game, especially with the defense that they have. You do got to possess the ball. You do got to put some points on the board, but you got to think this is, that type of game now. There were some crazy look aheads that had this one much, much higher, but that was, before we started to see what maybe Seattle had. And there were signs that this defense was going to be above average, but maybe not among the top defenses like we're seeing, other than the fact that that's what they kind of do in Seattle, but maybe we don't have the sometimes the personnel that we've seen on some of their defenses, but they'll always be at home, especially, the extra yard, 5, 10, 15 yards that they're going to get from, you know, uh, procedure penalties and the like. So I'm going to take the under in this game with these two teams if I'm going to talk up the defenses like that. And you have pedestrian Walker out there. Um, hey, Browns, can they run the ball? Sure, I think they can. Does Seattle have a decent defense to stop? Yeah. But I know there for all the talk about, oh, this is not the Geno that we were necessarily expect. I think Geno had his moments a little bit where we're like, wow, look at him. Geno comes to see, and he maybe overachieved to a certain extent, or with some of his passing numbers. I mean, he's got great targets. We know that. So I think you can get 37.5 out there as well right now. But I'll list it at 37. Uh, for the second day in a row, I'm having pen issues. I've lost my pen. I never do. And 2 days in a row here I have. So let me just. My big head in the way. Grab another one and get started here. So give me the under here with the Browns and the Seahawks. I'll take the under this afternoon. Let's see what Ferner he's talking about. Some of those ticket money 65% count on the over, but wagers are on the under. Does that mean 65% of the money is on the over, but the higher percentage of wagers are on the under? Is that what that says? So I don't know. I am that guy. I try to interpret but I don't push it on anybody. I'm not saying you don't do that. I'm saying great, Ferner. Thank you for your report on that. But I'm a ticket count guy. Not much on the money. I'm more concerned about the tickets. Anyways, give me the under here, and I'll probably maybe have something here on the side. We'll see. I got 3 plays in the afternoon slate, so I'm taking the under those my free play in this one with the Browns and the Seahawks. Basically, if I've got two good defenses, I got the Browns. They're looking to run right. With the Browns. Look, it was unfortunate that they lost their star running back, but doesn't it seem like, look, even Hunt, just pick him up off this, you know, was he retired? Was he just working out, waiting for the call? Whatever. He wasn't joining on the other team. Comes in and looks pretty strong, right? He looks strong. He looks big too. He looks not bigger than I don't know, a different type of runner maybe than he always has been, or maybe he kind of has been that guy. So hello to Perky today, or Perky. Maybe it's his son. Maybe it's his grandson. Maybe it's his dad. Hi, Perk. So anyway. That's what I feel. The Browns, they still can run it. They'll look to run it. They got Walker. They got to manage the game. Seahawks, obviously, they're not all that that offense, especially against the Browns defense, right? So give me the under in this one. The Kansas City Chiefs and Denver Broncos NFL action for Sunday afternoon for the Chiefs coming on the road here to take on the Broncos. And well, maybe that line was a little bit higher uh, to a certain extent. I saw as high as 9 or so here with the Chiefs and maybe the Broncos. Hey, um, I don't know what you call it, whatever Sean Payton did. It's definitely did set the team back again a little bit. Where after they were trying to kind of, they bring him in, whether things worked or whether this was the plan or not, if it was a purge or whatever to get rid of personnel who just wasn't going to do it that the Sean Payton way or whatever. But you don't want to turn back the clock too far with older players and whatnot, but the Broncos have played just a little bit better of late, a little bit better of late. So much so that the move here is kind of, well, it's on the Broncos. And, um, you know, for the Chiefs, look, they're still, championship caliber team. You're still putting them at the top with Buffalo, with Miami right now. Who else do you want to put in there from the AFC? Can you include the Beng? No, obviously not. Nobody would include the Bengals. It does feel like the Bengals, got in there and earned their chance that they still could be that team. But who else can you consider right now um, in the AFC? But for whatever reason, and look, this has been everybody knows the Chiefs own the Broncos. They've won 160 straight games against them, or something like that. And they also cover the spread when they face the Broncos. But I mean, how many trends, how many things, the moves on the Broncos aren't the squares going to line up to lay a touchdown on the road here with the Chiefs? Man, at least give us a hook or something, players. Are the books that savvy and sophisticated? They're willing to keep this down when it was as high as 9. Yeah, are there some, you know, declines with the Chiefs of late offensively? Do we take it for granted? Do we take the Chiefs for granted? They'll just go out there, win the game, maybe not cover. I don't know. McKinnon is probable. Justin Watson is probable today. So I'm probably gonna try to find a way to get on these Broncos. I don't think they can win, but this 16 game streak has to end sometime. Denver's not great. Is this situation getting better? I'm not even sure about that. But the game just, what was the 2 weeks ago they played at Kansas City. Kansas City was a 10.5 point favorite. They covered the spread for most people. Hello to Mark Lee today. Blake says, I will take the Chiefs for granted and I'll take the Chiefs, I think is what he said. Verner says, go under here in this one. You look, you got a road favorite. I did allude to on one of the shows this week. I don't think I said it here, but it looks like Derek is. I think Derek is saying not hard. I think he's saying um, this is Chiefs. And right, so Darren says they're the Broncos offense, but not they can't cover this. And Ray says they can't trust them at this point. So, like I said, I guess the books are just giving free money away with the Chiefs at every Joe Square. Not that you guys are square. I mean, you guys are here. I think for a reason we're hanging on to the 3 or 4 dozen people that we do every day that really understands, how to play this game. And that's what I respect about you guys coming in here. We're not throwing darts, and we have to be on sometimes. It's kind of like trying to be honest with somebody, right? And I think sometimes we all can be guilty of not being truthful when some people need that. Don't call it criticism, okay? I mean, there's no reason to. But for the Chiefs, um, yeah, I mean, is there complacency, whatever, in their season sometimes? They end up not covering, they win. Um, so Broncos 11-6-1 last 18 games as a home underdog, and they've been a few times a home underdog kind of late. But Denver, look, they've got to not give up the late score like in the first half, right? Because you know that Mahomes is the king of getting that late score in the first half, and this is where Denver kind of struggles. Hey, hello to Brown Beats here today. Everyone's going to be on the Chiefs. I'm that guy. I'm your Huckleberry today. I'm on the Broncos here against the Chiefs. Just get away. And right, Ray says, look, it was 9, and maybe it was even 8.5, whatever it was, right, Ray? There's no doubt it was not 7. The books didn't open at 7. I'm showing a little bit of movement here on the total. It's basically back at 45.5, and maybe even 46. So this one looks to be going up a little bit. I will say, thank you, Derek. You and me, kid. Let's do it. Or old man or man, Derek. Nice to see you. And thank you, Thomas. Thank you. And Blake says the books are who we do battle with. Yeah, to a certain extent, although the books, they're trying to just take 10%. They're trying to get it right in the middle. And they have to anticipate where the money's going. You got to think the Swifties can get into the end zone. Reports are, and Taylor looks like she's not attending very many road games. I think the Jets game was different because that was in New York, and she lives there. I know where she lives. So, reportedly, Taylor Swift will not be at. And what's going to happen when we get to the playoffs? I don't know. I mean, look, I might be a little bit more, extreme than you guys. You guys are just out there handicapping. It's all about the sports. I went ahead and I checked all of Taylor Swift's concert dates, and when her tour resumes, the Eras tour is going to resume, and the playoffs are going to be going. So what's going to happen, right? She's already look. Everybody said, why doesn't Taylor Swift do the Super Bowl? She wasn't hasn't been asked to do it. Her tour coincide. I mean, she would literally have to. This is how much I have researched it. Now you guys are really going to think I've gone off the rails here, but this is why you guys are here with me, right? This is what makes our show the first look every day on YouTube live, and Steam plays are coming in. This is what we specialize in. But the Eras tour, her tour date will end. She would literally have to get on a plane, fly straight to the stadium, um, and it's in here in Vegas, right? And get here right at game time. Maybe at game time. Maybe. I mean, it's that close. So, Perky, wrong chat room. All right. I got you, Blake. And he's kidding and he's serious. Seemed like it's funny. We'll talk about it. Let's move on. But anyways, give me the Broncos today. I've got to side with the bookmakers, right? We're in competition with the bookmakers. I know, and everyone says let's bash the books, and I know that I'm not trying to be condescending to any of you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Check that weather. But I appreciate I appreciate you guys so much. But to me, the bookmakers, those are my buddies. I look for clues in the line. I try to anyway, and it's not a be all end all. I mean, you still got to go out there and play the game. But here, you guys said it. A few people said it right. The Chiefs were 8. The Chiefs were 8.5. Maybe even the Chiefs were not, and they're 7. Have the Broncos played just a tiny little bit better? Has even Russell Wilson even played just a tiny bit better? Yeah. Yeah, just a tiny little bit better, the Broncos. And again, look at the big picture: new ownership, ton of money, change in coaching staff, for better for worse. Looking back, I don't think this is going. This will be the Sean Payton prove me wrong, right? I want to, I kind of want to root for Sean Payton to a certain extent. Part of me doesn't necessarily. Isn't it interesting that one of the I don't know. You talk about some of the more prominent female gambling commentators, and Sean Payton's daughter is one of them, Megan Payton. If you know who, maybe you know who that is. You've seen her on. I call these, Tony and the other channel who went up. She might be one notch or two kind of above it, above the, but she definitely is a gambling. That's where she's been, and I'm sure she looked more mainstream there. And sometimes people are using the gambling to try to think it's a stepping stool, but it's not. You should be involved in the gambling commentary space, but she does a good job. So Megan Payton. All right, give me the Broncos. Let's move on. Hey, what am I doing? There's 2 games here, almost an hour in. Okay, big news here, but I think we saw this news kind of breaking last night that Brock Purdy, the quarterback who never loses, is going to be in there now for the Niners in this one against the Bengals with that concussion. Now I'm trying to remember. I thought they said no one had come back from a Tuesday concussion protocol. And so I don't know. Anyways, Purdy's in there this week. Trent Williams still questionable. That's the big issue for what went on, right? Look, no problem when they lost that game. Trent Williams, like I said, you could list maybe the top 10 players, maybe the top 20 players. You got a lot of quarterbacks, but Trent Williams, I mean, you're not going to find many offensive linemen on the list of the best 10 or 20 players in the league. Depends how you rate your offensive linemen. I get all that, but uh, you know, not many better or more respected than Trent Williams. He was out of that last game, and it was hard for the Niners, no doubt. And again, you could lose a player, but I'm just saying when you got like Williams, who's very durable, you know, if something like that were to happen where he gets hurt, eventually you could replace him and get someone in the fold, play that unit together, and they could start to get back. But once you take one guy out just for the short term, a little bit of chaos. Things get stabilized with an offensive line as weeks, games go along. That's why 1 week a line could look very, very bad and kind of bounce back next week, a week of practice together, knowing what your guy next to you is doing right. When it's I don't know how. I never played offensive line. I watch a lot of football. I talk to a lot of coaches in my. I think I know what's going on. Hey, I want to say hello to Lorne Doiron. Pleasure to have you here. And Lauren goes with the Bengals in this one, and Blake's going with the Bengals. Darren's going with the Niners. This is a good game, right? I mean, this is could be a Super Bowl in a way. I'm sure the Bengals got a ways to go to get back to where they were, or say where they were. I mean, we're just talking recent, but last year basically in the big games in the AFC, but it feels like they have declined a little bit. Well, these two teams, they played some Super Bowls together as well. So, anyways, for me with Purdy back in the lineup, I'm kind of liking what I see here with the 49ers back here. The line currently still sitting under a touchdown, and maybe the Niners can get back here a little bit. And this number, pretty fast riser. Concerns about the Bengals still here, maybe moving forward. The Bengals and the 49ers getting to be at full strength, but Thomas looks like here on the Bengals. But Williams is a key name that we're kind of looking for today. in this one. Thank you, Blake, for all that. Appreciate it. Werner on the Bengals. So you guys are on some Bengals today. I'm going to take the Niners here to get back to their rolling ways. I think the Bengals actually have enjoyed a little bit of success here of late, and I hope they can continue to still recover. But not today. I'm going to try the Niners here and get with them to lay the points. Maybe down to 5, even at some places here right now. I don't know if we'll go much lower than this. Purdy in today. Um, I respect what you guys are doing here on the Bengals, and I don't even know if it is buying Derek. Um, maybe it is. Maybe these guys are that good. Maybe the Niners are that good. I actually feel a little bit uncomfortable. I just want to play the. I want to play the Niners. I feel like the spots the Niners. I'm almost disappointed that having to lay a little bit here extra with Purdy, but I think I would rather have him in there and uh, lay the extra points than lay the 3.5 or whatever it was going to be without Purdy in there. So this one's not going to make my premiums as far as the side is concerned. And I'm not giving up on the Bengals, but I just think this one may be a little bit tougher today. All right. Kind of wanted to go through a few. I kind of want to check the weather back when we were talking about that Denver game because certainly saw that before the game that the precipitation was scheduled, but I thought maybe by game time that would kind of clear up. So, all right. Londo says, "Do I like some Bengals?" I'm going to be on the Niners here in this one. I was hoping it would have been a little cheaper. Like I said, I might have considered. I'd probably be more excited with a pretty. It's close. All right, Derek does say Niners. Ray says Niners, and right. So the Niners, they've kind of had some scares right of late, and like I said, and the game without Williams, and again, it might be without Williams today too. That does actually concern me, but I'm going to try him here at home in this one. Brown Beats wants to go over, and this total, interestingly, you talk about um, Purdy's return to the lineup, and this total was opened as high as 45 and a half, 46 for the most part. Purdy's been announced in now for, I don't know, 18 hours or so, right? Or whatever it was. The total hasn't moved higher, but the Niners moved high, moved a little bit higher like we were anticipating. So that is interesting. And one other interesting note about this, I may have mentioned it one time on this show, but I mentioned it on another show as well. But uh, in talking about some of the totals trends, for example, talk about the road favorites and all that. Um, there is a little bit of strange dichotomy with the early games and the late games that have been going on this season. Um, so stop me if I've kind of covered it here. I don't want to bore you. These are the late games that I'm covering, but let me just say this: the early kickoff. So this doesn't count any prime time, right? So we have prime time. That's a separate category. I think we could all say there are like three different. There's prime time, there's early window, and there's late window, and there's London. Whatever, London's a different category. Early kickoffs this season, the games that start at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, have gone 34 unders and 21 overs. That's pretty solid, I would say, to the under. 34 and 21 to the under. The late window, the game's played at 4 Eastern and 1 Pacific, 425, 125, if you will, and 405, 105. The late games, however, are just 13 and 14 to the under. They've been flat. But listen to this: over the last 2 weeks, they've all gone under. I believe there might have been one over, whatever it is. It might be 1-7 to the under. It might be 0-8. So those games are starting to go under as well. They started off like I want to say either 12-5 or 13-5 to the over, but now they're all starting to go under in the late games. It's a league wide trend, so I know that some people are just going to throw that out. But hello, Airplane Boop. The Baltimore Ravens are going to take on the Arizona Cardinals. NFL action for Sunday, and the Ravens here on the road laying a pretty big number. Kind of scary to think about here with Ravens and the Cardinals. Okay, the Cardinals, they're a hard trying sort, aren't they? You almost feel bad to a certain extent. They do. They're trying, but now they've failed to cover in 4 straight. They've lost 4 straight. They've failed to cover in 4 straight. They've lost by what? 10, 17, 14, 19. They're getting outscored 3.5 to 1 in the second half. They're giving up 27 points a game in the last 5 games. They've lost 17 of their last 20. And for the Ravens, they are coming out like gangbusters. They have outscored opponents 77-9 in the first half in their last 4 games. They've been just terrific. And the defense, of course, back to being Baltimore if they ever were not. I mean, this is a constant. For whatever reason, Baltimore strong defensively once again, allowing just 6 touchdowns on 79 drives this year. But the one thing they don't do well is cover spreads on the road when they're favored. They're just 3-8 in their last 11 games as a road favorite, including 0-1 this season. So this is just a tough situation for them every time. I'm not taking the Ravens. No way. I'm on the Cardinals. For sure. Yeah, they're 1-6. And they're not even covering spreads. This has to be the one they're going to get the money in. And let's see here. With Ravens should roll, says Londo. Okay. I get it. Darren says Lamar here. But for me, I'm on Arizona. There's not a lot of good things to say certainly about Arizona, but they've gotten a few covers here and there. Look, for losing 17 of the last 20 games, they have covered 7 of those, 7 of their last 17, 7-10 against the spread. That's a losing record, but. And Chad says, look at this. They're coming off a huge public win, stay away. And look at that total. So you mean to tell me with a total of, 44 or so, 45, the score of this game is headed for 27-17. And I'm not sure they can get them. I don't know. We'll see if the Cardinals can produce anything. Dobbs, so far in his career, he's 1-8 as a starter. So, look, the players support him. They, fire him up. When he makes a big play, you want Dobbs to do well. By some points, says Derek. Londo says they'll win it by 2 scores. They could, they could lead by 2 scores and still give it up. Uh-oh, Londo. Yeah, Cardinals, can we put them as the worst team right now? Yeah, They probably have fallen below the Bears, right? Or whoever else we want to. I don't know. Who else do you? Who else do you have in there? With the Cardinals, the Bears. I mean, the Panthers, maybe, right? They're in the bad group. All right. I'm going to take them. I'm taking the Cardinals. This is professional football. So give me the Cardinals at home here. Londo's got the Raiders in that group. Uh-oh. Give me the Cardinals here plus the points in this one. All right, in Sunday Night Football, my Chargers are going to take on the Bears in this one tonight. The Chargers getting the prime time treatment with the Bears here at home. Big favorite. You don't want the Chargers as a big favorite. I don't, right? I mean, who does? Who wants the Chargers to roll somebody? Come on, against the bag boy? Bag boy, what you gonna do when he bring your touchdowns? Come on, man, the bag boy. This is his first NFL road start. He's 1-0 as a starter, uh, record-setting quarterback, Division Two. So we're all about the bag boy. Everybody really down on uh, the Bears' new quarterback, at least for this, for now. And who knows? Maybe he will. Maybe this man has been lost. For some reason, whatever reason, he did not, become a. Maybe it was his size. Never was a Division One football player, but he set all the records in Division Two. He won the biggest awards in the division. So why couldn't he go on? This is professional football. And what happens is this one reason why you see such a cross section sometimes. Not everybody's from Alabama and SC, Texas, and the NFL. You do have a mishmash of players from different levels and different sector. Some that linemen that you know, played at smaller schools just because that's the way it is. And when you get into the professional setting, it changes things for people, or their skills become enhanced because they're playing around other professionals. Sometimes you're brought down to a level. All right, let's see what you guys are already cranking up here on some of these. Uh, thank you, Thomas. Hi, James. Pleasure to have you. Well, James, if you were gonna start with your first $20 and new to sports betting, I don't know, what your goals are. What do you need from that $20? Do you have? Are you going to buy a $20 pizza tonight, but you'd like a $30 pizza instead, or do you have the $20 and you wanted to buy pizza for your family and friends, but you don't mind if didn't have the $20 and didn't buy pizza for your family and friends and maybe had no money to buy yourself a pizza. So there's two different there's different trains of thought, James, as far as how to do sports betting. Unfortunately, because luck plays such an important factor in games, we often think we know what's going to happen, and unfortunately, it doesn't go that way. The bounce of the ball, the referee's call, or just a bad break or two can, you know, change things. So if you were looking to take that $20 and maybe have $100 by the end of the season, I think a more sound strategy of taking, um, you know, uh, e- teams that maybe would be expected to win, uh, uh, and get a small return on that investment, possibly. But you didn't want to lose that $20 in just one day. So what I probably would end up doing is taking my $20 and placing as many as uh, 10 $2 bets on the teams that maybe that I'm reporting to you here on this show. Uh, Maybe you could go through a few of my videos and just divide that up. I don't believe that your best strategy here is to take that $20 and put it on one team, for example. I want this money to last us. I want to try to grow this money and making it an income type of money, because obviously if you had $20 here and you could increase that by 10% by the end of the day, that would be pretty solid, really, in the big picture. Although we're talking just a small amount in comparison to maybe what people might be doing that are watching this channel. Like I said, one man's pittance is another man's fortune. So I would look to keep that bankroll alive. James, we have $20 to spend. I want you to keep playing this great game of sports betting. So I would look probably to maybe take all of my games here, maybe that I mentioned, and just $2 each. And then hopefully by the end of that one, for maybe the first 5 games, hey, if we go 6-3, all of a sudden we're gonna, probably be up to, you know, uh, what you guys help me out? 26. Well, we have $1 left over, or $2 up, $26, right? Then we go into those afternoon games and do some more $2 bets. So then we go 3-1 in those, right? And then all that's pretty good. Then we'd be up to what, $31. So, anyways, that's a kind of serious talk about it, James. Thank you. Chargers should roll. The Bears are the worst team in the league, Londo says. Here's Ferner. Says, give me the under here in this one. I don't know, man. Herbert will light you up. Feels like. But can they get the money here? Jacoby, I don't know. Does he think the Chargers are going to win 8-5? Or are they going to go 8-5? Right now they're 2-4. So we weren't expecting the. I wasn't expecting the Chargers necessarily. I mean, I do expect the Chargers to be 2-4 actually, because yeah, they should. Well, they already are. I mean, I'm ashamed as a chart. Look, I have some shame. No, Perky, I'm not. We'll just touch on him if you have a question or comment. But we had talked about on Thursday the early games. Yeah, no, that's I. And look, this guy knows what he's doing, right? Here's another thing. This guy knows what he's doing out there, right? He's got the support of everybody, right? He obviously looks pretty popular with his team already. I don't know if necessarily nobody on the team likes Justin Field. I don't think that's the case at all. But all right, Derek wants the points. I'm taking the points. Of course, I'm taking the points. Come on. I'm not laying any points with the Chargers ever at this point. They can barely win a game, and you think they're going to be able to cover? The Bears are 2-5. Chargers are 2-4. Sure, Chargers are favored at Chargers are at home, but they're when they say Chargers going to charge or stuff like that, that's what we're talking about. The team is you know the problems are underlying throughout the whole organization. Practically impossible for them to cover to do anything right in the long term uh, to a certain extent, and cover a spread. Probably should save it for a premium, but just want to I hope they. I'm a Chargers fan. I mean, you guys. Some people like teams. Hi, Peasy. And still, great. Like I said, great suggestions on what but I can't take somebody else's I was going to go with that. I'm trying to come up with my own name of my play of the day. Ramon Scott. Everybody's got some kind of catchphrase. It seems like I can't come up with one. If he wants a $20, yeah. Look, I mean, if you're a $20 lock, I guess I could recommend just taking any one of these games, and I don't have a lock. Just take a pick and put it on there and hope for the best. Remember, we're all realistic in here, knowing that we're just trying. If we can get 55, 56, 58, 59% of our wins, we'll do it. But like I said, if I'm like sitting there and I've got $20 and I'm like, man, I really could, I really need $30 tonight, and I'm trying to figure it right. I'm a sports bettor, and that's the only way I know how to do it. I can't go get a job. I can't invest this tonight. I've got one game, and I got a $2 favorite on like Sunday Night Football. I'm probably gonna, even if though like we don't want to lay a $2 favorite money line, right? We already know we don't. Probably gonna do it. I'm probably gonna go like I need $30 by tonight. I've got a $2 favorite in Monday Night Football. It's my last $20. I need $30. Probably just gonna go put it on the $2 favorite and root for the best. And if I lose, well, what's the I'm already gonna be sleeping on the curb tonight. So all right. Kim Herbert can't find the end zone. All right. Thank you, James. It was a pleasure to speak with you. I thank you. Yeah. Um, oh no, I don't think they're being rude at all. I maybe you misinterpreted. I think. Um, oh, Chad did. No, Chad, come on, Chad. I expect I don't know if Chad meant that. Really, Chad's one of my good commenters. So again, I mean, I want you to enjoy sports betting. I mean, that's what I like, and we do want to make a little bit of money, and um, appreciate you, James. Enjoy, and hopefully, if you like football and all that, there's no more. Uh, no greater fun than these in the betting, I'll wrap it up on the NFL. Thanks everybody. We'll get moving here with the other sports. We got to get moving here. An hour and 15 in, but I'm taking the Bears. I'm taking the Bears. But I knew, I didn't even know what sports betting was as a kid, right? But if anybody we have anybody out of our 4 dozen here or any watching the replay, when I was a kid, there was a magazine called Game Plan Magazine that came out. I probably was 7 or 8 years old. I think it was out before then in the 70s. And they had like a rating system. This is a great, I mean, it was even today you could do worse than start with this, right? So the Game Plan magazine would have a set of ratings for each team going into the season. I didn't know what point spreads were betting. I'm 7 8 years old. Getting into it, I'm reading, I'm starting to say I love sports, I'm loving it. uh, Reading, so maybe I could be a sport. I loved Howard Cosell and all the sports that were coming on TV. Game Plan magazine would list a little rating for each team in the magazine, like a power rating, an offense and a defense, and a total power rating. And you would take the offensive power rating, subtract the defense, and you'd come up with a score for each game. And it was like a prediction, right? It's like a crude power ratings. Before even computers were doing anything, they were like trying to introduce you. And I would do it throughout the whole season. I would follow their instruction on it and make my own power ratings like an 8-year-old kid. I'm not doing it as point spreads. I'm trying to pick the winners of the games just because I found this interesting as a kid. Math, we didn't have computers. So we had calculators or whatever, barely. We had crude computers starting out, and maybe a few years later, you had like Commodore 64. I'm programming in BASIC and C, like little horse racing games with sprites and paying off exacta. Anyway, that was a wacko. But what the Game Plan magazine would then say, so you'd have the offensive power rating, the defense, great concepts, right? Something we all can subscribe to now. You think about it. And what they would say is, if the game landed it was like 20 to 16 points over the predicted spread, you'd like give like um, 2 points of extra now power ratings to the offense, and you take maybe one away from the defensive team. And if it landed between 15 and 12 points or more than the spread, you do. And if it was a close game, you wouldn't adjust it. So you'd adjust your power rankings each week. And, you maybe you wouldn't take into because you just do it blindly that, oh, they beat them by 12. I'll adjust it by, 2 or 3 or whatever. And you just go with it. Now we know to use your own brain. You watch the game, you can move your power rating. But for someone just starting out, or you could do what worse than that. Thank you, you guys. That's for I don't know if it was you guys found that interesting. You go in though, you could Google Game Plan Magazine. I don't think they publish. Maybe they do, but you could look back at those issues. They're all like they have them on like PDFs still, and you go back and see what I'm talking like how they did it, even their little rules for adjusting the power ratings. And I found it to be just incredibly interesting. Okay. Obviously, not as interesting as uh, you guys think. Okay, let's go to the NBA today. I think we got some action here uh, this evening with the Nuggets and the Thunder. Let me call up the lines here. Busy talking to myself and to you guys. Nuggets here on the road. I saw the Nuggets take some action here and move this line just before we came on the air up to 3.5 here now, and 229.5. Maybe it's even gone a little bit higher. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm showing some books. Even I'm showing one offshore book, Square offshore book, very popular, up to 4, and the total here is at 229. And well, while the Nuggets, certainly are off to a 2-0 start, you know who else is 2-0? Our buddies, if you will, the Thunder, and I'm getting points at home. I mean, come on. You kidding me? Denver, sure, it's going to be a great season for Denver. And let me hold on a second here. Thank you, Fernando. Um, let's get this in here. Uh, yeah, let's take a look at that. Thank you for that information there, Fernando. If you see it in the chat, I'm not going to interrupt here just yet with that, but obviously, pretty big news here coming across the wire. Now, um, look, Johnson never made it in the league, but we did make it to the NHL, but just for basically a cup of coffee. But interesting there. I will look into that. Thank you. And continuing on here with this one, Salty Fly Guy says, Thunder Buddies, Furnaces fade the Nuggets and go under in this one here tonight with 229.5. And let's see if I can get a few nice statistics here for us to compare, because I don't know. I think I'm ready to make the call here on this one and take the Thunder. Here, maybe they'll go 3-0. It feels like this is the same Thunder to me. I don't, I'm not worried at this point. Did they have ups and downs last year while we were trying to hit them on certain nights and get the best of that of their value day in and day out? Sure, they had some issues, but Denver's been good on the road, and this series, Denver. Well, the road team usually gets some money here, but I really want to trust here in the Thunder and SGA, Dort, these guys here tonight. I'm more interested in taking the points with a Thunder team that, uh, you know, they're money makers, man. That's just the way you got to approach this. I feel like the steam did come in on the Nuggets, no doubt about it. But I want the Thunder plus the points at home. They're already, uh, won a couple of games here. The Nuggets are going to be fine, but the road can be difficult. You got a Thunder team that can look to beat a team like Denver at home. Walking Spotted Bear, nice to see you. How you been? Miss you. Appreciate you stopping by. Brown Beats says go over as well. Ray's going to lean with the Thunder. I'll take the Thunder in this one. System playing. Hawks and the Bucks Sunday night. NBA here start to get into the evening schedule. This is a 1-day game, but this one 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific. In this one, Milwaukee done pretty well in this series. They've won 11 out of the last 13 meetings when playing the Atlanta Hawks at home. For Milwaukee, they had some trouble covering numbers late last season. I know it was a playoff, so they've also gone over in their contest so far. So I think the Bucks, this is probably going to be laying a little bit too many points for me to want to get involved here with Atlanta early on, and I'm going to end up taking Atlanta. I don't necessarily see the Bucks as a team that's going to be blowing anybody out just yet early in the season, especially an Atlanta team with Young and now, granted, for Young against Lillard, that certainly is a matchup to keep an eye on. But I'm taking 7 points for sure. Let me check the line here on that and make sure. Yeah, it's probably let me at least mark it down to 6.5 because the move is probably on the Hawks here at this point. That total 238.5 can't be too. We'll see. We haven't really. I don't know. It doesn't seem like we're getting to these 240 games again this season. Just kind of like last season when all those 240s ended up kind of getting short a little bit. And right, Ferner, just look. Are the Bucks a top contender for the right? I feel like we're all overlooking, like, we're trying to find another team. This is what I said, right? We just previewed Denver too, so I guess you could tie it in. Everyone wants to try to find another team outside of Denver and Milwaukee right now, to win the championship. But who really? I mean, okay, we could take some stabs at some other teams. Maybe they could. This is the NBA. You get in the playoffs, you get a 7-game series. Right now, I kind of want to. I mean, Lillard just had a great game, right? He just looked great. It fit in just perfectly. In fact, this looks really good. Really good. I'm going to take the Hawks. I'm going to think the Bucks are a pace themselves type of team, especially now with Lillard. I don't mean pacing like, pace the game. I'm talking about like pace the season, if you will. You're not throwing away games. You're not tanking games. You still got to play the games. Atlanta's okay. They've got some good personnel. This will be a game that, the Hawks can win. And the Hawks can win the game. There's no reason not even maybe to take a pop on them on the money line here in this one. It's not out of the question. So if they're at home, it'd be dealing with a different spread and everything like that. But I have no reason to think the Hawks aren't able to stay in this one. I'm going to take, feel like almost the first one where I'm saying that premium. You're like, this could be a premium. The Hawks look good in this spot for sure tonight. All right, here's the Warriors taking on the Rockets here Sunday night NBA. And you have Golden State here on the road. Yeah, the Rockets. We're almost willing to put the Rockets And I didn't want to say it, but obviously the Rockets might be the worst team right now. I mean, I don't want them to be. I want to think they can be better, and maybe this is the spot for the Rockets. But I mean, I'm going to be I'm going to be on them half the time. I would think at this point, I'm not necessarily fading them, and I don't want to trust the Warriors here necessarily on the road either. Well, I know this Rockets aren't going to be able to stop them. I don't. I'm taking the over. Right, 228 here. Um, you guys coming in on anything on this game yet? I know you see a lot of comments there on that last game, but for me, the Rockets at home, sure. Can the Warriors up the tempo, up the pace, whatever? I don't think it's necessarily all about that. I just think it's in general the Rockets are going to be not as strong defensively. Look, they scored only I don't even know what it was, 86 point. What was it, 86, 90, whatever it was. They didn't score very many points last game, and they looked bad. But that's not who the Rockets are. Maybe this situation is not great. Maybe the coaching, maybe this is not a right scenario for this team and this franchise. Whatever the case may be, we're not talking about that. We're talking about one game tonight. Okay, thank you, Ferner. Let me update that. 225.5. Look, this move is lower. Good, because I'm going to take the over. Maybe the sharps are right. Maybe it's the sharps that are moving this. I don't necessarily show that to be the case. I'm not talking about the line. I think you're right about the line. And it has gone up here to 5.5 or so, it looks like. Was as high as I've seen 4.5 to 6.5. So we're right in the middle, obviously, and 5.5 may be the point that we're at. But I see the Rockets faring better offensively, and in turn, I believe the sacrifice will be on the defensive end here in this one with the Warriors, as they'll probably look to be able to win this game, considering what's going. The Rockets not looking too good. Believe me, the Sharps are going to be all over the Rockets. I might end up on the Rockets. I don't know if I'll be, not a premium or anything, but I'm probably somewhere on the Rockets here. Right. Well, that's usually a sign of a sharp play, and then that would put me on the side of the squares. It feels like to me, Ferner, but I don't care. This I don't call me square. I mean, I'm I pick more goofy dogs. I think I don't know. I pick a lot of crazy. I pick a lot of chalk too. Like I said, you want everything in your arsenal. I'm going to take the over too. If it's gone under, if it's gone lower, I'm taking the over in this one. The Portland Trailblazers going to take on the Philadelphia 76ers. And we've seen some news in this game, believe it or not, regarding James Harden. He's been upgraded to questionable in this game tonight to make his appearance, the first appearance at home. Now, look, everybody want everybody to stop just what they're doing right now because Roll Tide guys here, and he told us that the Miami Heat would cover. Let's stop the show right now and talk about that Heat game against the Timberwolves. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold everything. The Heat lost by 16 points. I was going to come in here and tease Roll Tide guy yesterday about that. They lost by 16 points yesterday. Maybe, not last night. Oh well, I'm not okay. We're not on. We're not on any. We're not talking about anything from a few nights ago, Jason. Come on, we're done with that. We're done. Miami Celtics did they play? We don't. Oh, look, brother, I love you here when you come here, but Uh, um, I'm talking about the Trailblazers and the 76ers here tonight. I'm talking about games from last week. This is an 82 game season. Anyways, here, Trailblazers and 76ers for tonight. I'm going to look to take the points here with the Trailblazers. Look, I like what the Trailblazers did. Are they I don't know. Okay, we just talked about the Rockets. Maybe they'll have a little rivalry with the Trailblazers this year as some of the worst teams in the league. But I like what the Trailblazers have done. I like the fact that they, cleared the veterans out, said, hey, we got to start over. Yeah, do they have some veterans? Sometimes when you are redoing things, you got to have some veterans too. Bring along the young guys here. You try to get veterans that have some life, some shelf life left and everything. So they've made a commitment. I think it's important to note. So they know where they stand as a franchise and all that. Um, wasn't going to happen for Dame. Look, even the way that it went down, right? Portland, they had their chances, I guess, not to win it all, but they thought they were getting over the hump. They never made that acquisition for that. Well, I mean, they have a superstar in Lillard, but look, now he's a compliment to Giannis. And maybe that's truly what Lillard is, a superstar compliment. And the Blazers, despite having that superstar backcourt, you know, probably if you have two great guards, you're going to need something else in there to go over the top. So they, end up breaking it up and whatever. But I like their commitment here. I don't think the Sixers are a blowout type of team at this point. Anything can happen tonight. I'm taking 9 points, 9.5, whatever it is. I'll list it at 9. It's pretty much 9.5 everywhere. The total here has dropped to 217 in tonight's game with Portland and the Sixers. So a little bit of move to the under, and I know the sharps are probably going to go that way, but I think that might be the way the total. Look, I'm going to be on some games tonight. Whether or not this is one of them, I'm looking at this total tonight. So at 218.5, and it's already gone down from an opener of 220, and that's the way I would probably look at it. Blazers on the road, they're going to have to work things out. And, we saw Simons, he's on the injured list right now. He has an injury and he's going to miss. I saw originally 2 to 3 weeks. Then I saw, longer than that for his, I thought it was just a finger or hand injury. So, talk about the key young players. Simons is one of them, no doubt. You would like to have him in the lineup, but early in the season right now, with the way that I'm interested in points. I'm interested in points. Furnace says moving down even further, 217.5. So that's a 2.5 point move to the under. And I'll take the Blazers plus 9.5. All right. Well, the Lakers are going to go on the road to take on the Kings in this one. And, the way the Lakers are going, this is almost like the best rivalry they got nowadays. Anyways, maybe the Lakers are going to find a way to start getting it together here. We know it's a long season. There'll be ups and downs, and the team will definitely underachieve their regular season record, find a way to get in the playoffs, probably end up on the bottom side of the draw and end up losing because they won't have a home court advantage. It's too bad, too, but LeBron definitely, he's not the scorer right now. He's not even the scorer he was maybe last year. And, we already knew the scoring was in pretty rapid decline. There's nothing wrong with LeBron running the point, running the game, running the playmaker, even charging the rim and making strong plays to the basket. Still an incredible physical specimen at his age, but just takes time and overtime. And I think the Lakers have it right. I want to see just a couple more games just to see what they do with these minutes for LeBron. Because I think a change in attitude, a change in philosophy with James's minutes could result in good returns for the Lakers. I would say play LeBron, more games, less minutes, and try to manage it from there. If the games get out of hand, take him out of the game. Don't have him in the games if they fall behind, but give him a chance. Give it a chance to win more games. You gotta be able to get into the top tier of the playoffs. I mean, I think, you know, because in the NBA, unlike some of these other sports, the NBA kind of holds form, doesn't it? Right? It's the one sport. It was the one. Maybe not even the NFL, because yeah, maybe there's a few elite, but the one sport where it seems like the best teams, right? No eight seed's going to be winning the NBA Finals, unless something like Giannis gets injured or something, and then comes back for the play. Not saying like, but right. So in this one, I've got to think this one, look, 235 now. My God, really? So this is one where I'm trying. These are the ones where I was kind of striking out last year, and it felt like it shouldn't be. I'm going over here tonight with the Lakers and the Kings. The 240 games like this. Now it's 235, so I feel like I'm playing a little bit of cushion. I'm not just rounding at 240 as like some arbitrary number where games go over and under, but there does seem to be a tipping point for odds makers when setting the lines for the games that approach 240 points. So in this one, I've got to think this time tonight, it looks like an over for me with Lakers and the Kings. This one opened at let me get it here. Open 234 ish to now up to 235. So just a 1 point move here tonight with the Lakers and the Kings. And we know the Kings and their, you know, personnel very with Fox, Sabonis, these guys putting up those big numbers, and Murray also probably, you know, probably pretty good. LeBron is not 100% defensive energy all the time. If it's playoff game, he probably can still run it down, block it off the backboard, and all that. But he's into pacing himself. And Anthony Davis against Sabonis, that could be trouble. But I'm still going to go over. Here's the Lakers here. I think Jason's with me on the over. Is it this one or the last one? I'm not sure. But I'm gonna go over the Lakers and the Kings tonight. Uh, this might be the Austin Reeves tonight. This might be a game where he could do something, where he could have a solid performance here. And as far as the side here, let's see. Jason says he's going to lay the points with the Kings in this one. So he says, I'm on the Kings -2. And, well, at this point, I might join him. We'll see. I might have a premium here. Who knows? But uh, I don't see the Lakers in a need to play any defense here in this one. Take their chances with the offense. And Jason is a Lakers fan, so we have that in common. And well, I like multiple teams, so I'm a wishy-washy guy. I like the Lakers. I like the Clippers. I don't care. I like the Rockets. These are my teams. The Nets. Just have different teams I like. And tonight I like the over and the Lakers and the Kings. And really, Fox, no problem against Russell. I would think, right? I mean, you tell me, Fox against Russell, light him up. Sabonis against Davis. Davis, no, Davis does not, play enough consistent defense here, right, Jason? And we don't need that from him necessarily, but you do have to try to find a way to make sure you get in the top four if you can. There's no excuse for the Lakers not to be able to do that, and finishing in sixth or seventh or whatever, playing whatever it is. That's not the way to get there. You got to have. It seems like it, right? Because all we got to do is win one game. This is LeBron. He says, "Oh, we just win one game. We got the home court back." You can't continue to do it over and over. You got to, I mean, if you're the Lakers, you should be like, hey, we got to get a 2 seed. There's no reason we can't compete with the second best teams in the Western Conference. Spurs and the Clippers, and well, come on, the Clippers to be laying points here to this Spurs club like this. Come on, I'll tell you right now, I'm on the Spurs. When you get Pop, it's kind of like I don't want to equate it to what's going on with Connor Bedard. And the Spurs aren't going to necessarily go to the playoffs and win the playoff games. They might go to the playoffs. Uh, we'll see. I look when you get a guy like this, and I'm not saying because I'd come on here and say, "Oh, Connor Bedard, these basketball can't miss guys are a little bit different. They can miss, but I don't think this guy's missing." Victor Wembanyama. I mean, we could talk about him all day, all night. And, the great thing about him is he's not going out there and, well, he is actually wowing him if you look at him on the court, how he moves, how he plays, how focused he looks. Yeah, it's still raw in a way, and there's a lot of growing that needs to be done. But, man, he plays within. He's a pro already, makes players around him better. So, all of a sudden, right, these Spurs who we looked at with like, oh, who are these guys to a certain extent, right? With Sohan and oh yeah, Johnson, he'll be boy, he looks good. Wait till a couple of years, right? Zach Collins, all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden they look like NBA. They look very good. They look like they're here already. Now there's some depth issues with the Spurs, but you don't worry about that with Pop and the Spurs, right? You think so once you solidify something, you get Pop working with a superstar. That's why, to me, right, when a guy falls and okay, could Pop have gone? Maybe Pop could have been a high school coach and like led every team to the state title, and now the people end up where they end up, right? Guy like David Robinson falls, in your lap. Huge man, 7'2" man, head, great head on his shoulders, mentally stable, whatever. Get together with a guy like Pop, turn that great talent of David Robinson, who was a great college player, of course, at Navy and had to wait to turn him into a superstar. Could have done it on his own. David Robinson could have been anywhere, gone anywhere, probably been a superstar. But he went with Pop. Then what happens? Tim Duncan, right? Tim Duncan at Wake Forest, hey, he was great. I mean, he was All American. I mean, Wake Forest, those Wake Forest teams were, great, right? In the late 90s, mid to late 90s, whatever it was, with Duncan, got with Pop. That same thing's going to happen here. Pop's going to retire. No way. Pop's got himself. I don't know. Maybe he could retire in a couple, but I think this rejuvenates a guy like Pop to get a young player like this, and now you're meshing guys. Look, Johnson's, a scorer. And you look at the guys around him here, right? Wembanyama, Johnson, Vassell. Everybody say, Vassell too. And in this matchup against the Clippers, the Spurs can compete in this game. There's no reason to think they can't cover 8 points here. With a Clippers team have some injuries too right now, with a couple bench players here. So Salty Fly Guy on the Spurs. Thomas is on the Spurs. Here's Ray on the Spurs. I just told everybody we're taking the Spurs. I don't want you guys, I hope you guys agree with. I hope I'm right on the Spurs. I look. I mean, there's some bad teams in the West. The Spurs right now, they can do it. They can turn it around. They can get to, I don't know, they can get 30 wins, I would think. We'll see. That won't get you far, but I think this is a great situation. I mean, of course it is. I mean, I just feel like it's going to be on pace a little bit faster than maybe people will say, because I think when you have something like this, you build around it. They've been working right. All right. And Jason says we got the Thunder, we've got the Nuggets, we got the. Oh, he might be behind in the video. Okay, let's just move on. And the Clippers, and look, the Clippers are getting talked about like, hey, maybe the Clippers, maybe now everybody's overlooked them. No, there'll still be some issues, moving forward with the Clippers, because you have. Look, I love Kawhi. Everybody knows I love Kawhi. Come in here telling you about Kawhi, and hopefully, I think these guys. You got Westbrook on this roster. I like new Russ, okay, but I don't. But I don't think he's still going to be. I don't think he's the chemistry that you need. And I thought Zoo was great last game. So, all right, that's it for the NBA. Thanks. Good luck. Enjoy the games tonight. We got 4 games on the ice. We'll get to them real quick. Get you out of here. Thank you for joining me for a couple of hours every day here on the Morning Steam. Come and go as you please. I'll be here. I'm just resigned to the fact that I have to talk to 2 hours because I got nobody but you folks. So please come here every day and visit me, because you're all I got. All right, the Colorado Avalanche going to take on. We got action here. This one goes off when the football games do. So probably no premium for me here. I can't water down these beautiful, delicious NFL games with one of 80 hockey games. So we'll end up just giving out a play here, I would think, today with Colorado and Buffalo. With, well, I don't know, pretty interesting goaltending matchup with Gurdjieff and Luukkonen in this one. An Avalanche on the road here at minus $1.60. Let's see, is that the price? Yeah. Well, let me call up the latest lines. This was as of a few hours ago. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning here. I've only been up for about 4 or 5 hours, making sure we have a decent show. All right, showing Colorado up to $1.70 here now on the road, and believe it or not, the Sharps. What I see so far, I think Sharps are actually going to prefer Colorado here by about a 4. Oh, maybe a 2-1 margin. It looks like to me. Uh, Colorado, man, up to $1.70 right now. The total 6.5 over 30. That looks pretty consistent. Gurdjieff right now. I don't know where you're going to rank the goalies at this point. Gurdjieff, I don't know if he is overlooked. I think a lot of people rate him very highly right now, and has continued to grow here over the last year plus for Colorado. But man, I got to think. Okay, I get it, the Sabres, but I'm probably going to be on the under here in this game. Give me just a moment here. Take a sip of water. All right, there we go. Um, this has been now these East West series don't play but twice a year, but the series has been a dead over. 9 of the last 11 meetings in Buffalo have gone over. That's over a decade sample size. These two teams have combined to go 6-9 to the under so far this season. And I don't know. For me, I just would have to think that with the Avalanche on the road here, they've averaged 3.4 goals per game so far in their starts on the road, while Buffalo averaging just 2.2 goals at home. But Colorado also just allowing 2.4 goals on the road so far this season. So I'm going to end up on the under in this one here. Salty Fly Guy says, you know what? Why don't you give me the Avs? And I'll take it down to 5.5, and that gives me plus $1.40. If you do that, want to say hello to Big Lucci as always. Great to see you, Luch. So give me the under here in this one with Colorado and Buffalo as my free play on the show. Get through this, get out of here, get you heading off to the pregame shows here today on NFL Sunday. Let's take a look at Sharks and the Capitals. This one's at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific time today. And oh boy, the Capitals here 215 or higher, 6 under 15. And while I have been. I've been on the Sharks a few times. I think you guys have seen that. Whether or not the results have been, obviously a little bit mixed, you got to find your spot certainly for the Sharks. And I'm gonna, I don't know at this point. I would feel like half the time I will be. I'll take the Sharks. I mean, I know they're 0-4 on the road. I know they're 0-7-1, and yeah, are they the worst team in the league? They probably are the worst team in the league, but I'll find a few spots to take the Sharks because nobody's going to want to be taking the Sharks. Today, I'm on the Capitals. Let's take the Capitals to roll here. I promise you. You guys know if you're coming in here to visit me every day, 3 or 4 dozen that I'm going to take the Sharks now and then. I'm going to take the Sharks plus a 1.5. I'll take them plus 2.5. Sometimes you got to take those goals in order to find your profit on them. They're going to be, games where that will be the role. There will be for the Sharks, and they've gotten the puck line in a couple of games, but so far, so it hasn't been great. But, and not a great start, obviously, so far for these guys here. But I'm going to try the Capitals on them. I know, it's this one looks a little bit easy. I'm sure everybody can mail this one in. I'm going to be on these show. I'm always going to try. Look, maybe even hey, iBook Excel, nice to have you here. But even though, yeah, maybe I like a little bit of attention. So it's always good to pick an underdog on a free show. It's easy. What do I have to lose? Well, you don't want to get it wrong all the time, but also you have to be advisable to everyone when the prices are bad. When the prices are too high. I don't feel like as bad as the Capitals have been, and everyone talking poorly about the Capitals. You know what? All of a sudden they do have 3 wins here, and maybe they're not as old and tired as we made them out to be. Okay, maybe they're still old and tired and everything, but maybe this is a spot where I want to take the Capitals here. And you don't feel good laying a goal and a half necessarily, but I'm going to do it today. You get a little bit of plus money here, plus 110, maybe plus 105 in this one. Capitals will be looking for their first uh, puck line win of the season as a puck line favorite if they were to get it here. The Sharks have been underdogs in every game this season. They are 0-4 on the puck line on the road and 1-7. So I've already struck out a couple of times with the Sharks. I'll try them. I'll try them soon. I will figure out when to play them. Not today. I'm thinking they're right now all the way over there on the East Coast playing some nondescript Sunday game against Capitals team. People still questioning whether they have anything left at all to make the playoffs this season. They're starting to prove some people wrong. It looks like, and I'll try the Capitals here today. All right, Minnesota Wild and New Jersey Devils in this one. NHL action for Sunday, 5 Eastern and 2 Pacific. And listing Flurry here for the Wild, Vanasek for the Devils, $1.75, maybe down to $1.65 or so here with the Devils on Sunday. Total currently at 6.5 over 30 in this one with the Devils favored here on the road. Man, that total looks about as high as it can get. On paper, this one totally looks like an over, but I think I'm rating the line a little bit too high in this one. And not sure. This looks like a decent spot actually for the Devils. I'm kind of pleased that there might be a reduction in price. In fact, let me give out a favorite. I don't want to give it out as a premium, and I don't think I can even give it out in the middle of football. I'm not going to give it as a premium at all. And as a favorite here on the right, I'm going to give you some ugly dogs. I've already had to talk myself off the Sharks. I'm going to give out some chalk here, and I'm going to go with the Devils minus $1.65 against the Wild here in this one. Kind of wanted to. I know for whatever reason, I ignore the goalies on the weekends like it's unimportant. But again, I think the news cycle is a little bit different on the weekends too, and the goalies become a little bit the news runs a little better on the weekdays because of the night games. And even though this is close to night, let's see here. Nope. In fact, I'm showing one site now listing Gustafson and two sites listing Gustafson. So maybe it will be Gustafson in there. And if it is, that certainly is a little bit of a downgrade. I think everybody can agree there. Here, Flurry, not the same Flurry over the years here now, but I'm going to chalk it up, Ferner. Chalk it up some chalk here. Ferner, though, says, give me the puck line with the Wild tonight at probably minus $1.65 or so, but I'll take the Devils here on the money line myself. And finally, it's going to be the Senators taking on the Edmonton Oilers in a special game tonight. This one will be the Winter Classic here, one of them anyway. Remember, it used to be just New Year's Day you'd play. Now you just have them all over the year. Play Winter Classic here, Winter Classic there. But this is going to be a neat one in the. Where did I go with it? Here. Did I give the wrong sorry you guys, I typed over the graphic and I must not have saved it. Let me get it right. The game is right. The game I was talking about is right, but the graphic, I must not have saved it. I typed right over that and I was left with the game from yesterday. Here we go. Sorry about that. And let's make sure we got the price right. Let's call it Edmonton $1.55 right now, and the total 6.5 at under -115. So this game will be played in the Commonwealth Stadium tonight in Edmonton. The outdoor game between the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. That also shouldn't be lost on anybody. Another battle of Alberta. The two rivals will meet in the Elks in the famous stadium. I'll just say, I mean, this stadium has seen many great Canadian sporting events in its history. So should be a spectacular day. I don't have the exact weather. I understand it might be cold. It might be nice. It might be cold. It might be nice. It's starting to get cold, obviously. Late October now. Here, in, a little bit north, if you will. So expecting, I believe, cold conditions, but nice conditions. I don't anymore, Lucci, because I don't. I'm already on for 2 hours. They tell me to get off the air as soon as I can. They really don't want me to. I probably stay on an hour too long. So, anyways, here with that price is wrong. I just screwed up already. Again, it's $1.55 for the Oilers here in this one. And I'm on the Oilers at home. Come on. Outdoor game. Oilers and Flames, a big rivalry. There's no doubt that the Oilers and Flames have been playing some wild games indoors at Edmonton. We've seen some wild scores over the last season or two. Maybe read some reports here. I've kind of thought I had a feeling where I'm going with this game. The outdoor conditions, certainly sometimes the ice conditions, things like that. You want to read the stories, read what the players are saying, get the quotes. Thomas says he never knew they played outside. Thomas, did you know they play nowadays several games outdoors during the season, as many as 2, 3, even 4 games I think we've seen outdoors during the season, played in some of the most iconic venues in North America. I think last year was at Fenway Park. I'm not. It wasn't last year. Might have been 2 years. I think last year was Fenway Park. They've played. They've played in Southern California. They've played in Texas. They've played some of these outdoor games all over the place, and I know I'm rattling them off, and I don't want to be wrong, but I know they played kind of in some warmer weather venues, as I just recited there a little bit. You got to play at the right time of year. You can't, probably not going to do, in May, right? You're not going to do LA in May or anything like that. But before you get to the playoff, you got to do it early or in the middle of the winter here. Obviously, we can play in Edmonton in late October. So, anyways, yeah, Skinner here can be bad. I'm going to try Skinner here. He made some nice saves, I thought, in that last game. What was against Kings, and Skinner's capable. There's no doubt. We can have some fun at his expense. Going up against Markstrom here, it's kind of an honor to play a little bit in the outdoor game to a certain extent. We do know that Skinner is likely to start this game, not necessarily confirmed yet, but we did actually, that information actually came across with this being a big game, and it will be at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, and we're out here uh, uh, in Alberta, so a little bit late afternoon, if you will, late afternoon. Skinner definitely likely now. Markstrom not confirmed yet, but so Skinner was in the crease at the practice. Let me see if there's anything on the skating conditions. Okay. No, nothing necessarily about the conditions here. One other note about the game, though, and So, Connor McDavid did accompany, well, I won't say accompany the team. The game is in Edmonton, but Connor McDavid was in the team. I believe he's in the team picture. They had some photo ops with the stadium and everything. He jerseyed up and everything. I believe put his equipment on even. So, interesting. McDavid could be nearing a return to a certain extent. Um, maybe here maybe today. I don't think it wouldn't be today. It seemed like more of a significant injury, but I know that that was some of the talk, and maybe something where could look into a little bit more. But good feelings there, certainly with McDavid uh, moving towards a return here shortly. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you for joining me for 2 hours today and enjoy the games today. Hope I didn't miss anything, you guys. Tell me if I did. If you need anything before we get out of here, join me over at Tony'sPicks.com. Use promo code TonyT at checkout. Pick up my 7-pack right here in the NFL early window today. Look, you know, I'm treading water. I crushed it 2 nights ago, or 3 nights ago. I chunked it back the next night. Um, mediocre day. Look, I'm honest here. They said don't talk to the. Hey, look at the leaderboards, look at the NFL leaderboards, see who's hot. It's me at the NFL, level here on Tony's Picks and across the landscape of these multi-handicapper sites. Just check it out. Use our handicapper leaderboard 2.0. You can go over there to the NFL. You'll see I'm right up there this season with all of our cappers. There's Sam, Daniel, myself on top of those leaderboards. Still over the last month, I'm coming in with a pretty strong record here as well. So, it's just a minute. And you do not want to sleep on the Ramon Scott winning streaks. I promise you that. When I put them together, we were talking earlier, right, with our new friend in the chat who, said, "Hey, Ramon, I got $20. What could I do?" Well, you could go worse, right? Like I said, don't. I look. I want you guys, if you are struggling at all, I'm talking about all of my good friends that comment and everything. If you had a rough day, please, $30, support me, get that. 7-pack of games. Play your own games, play your own props, whatever. Use my games at $30. It supports me, it supports the channel. I'm going to try to win my plays. I don't need your money necessarily. I'm doing work. It's labor, right? So I enter the plays into a computer. I write up a little thing. You're paying for information. It's not like you're paying just for the play. I'm writing up the info, why I think this or that. You watch the shows. Look at it that way, right? There as far as supporting me and paying money for these picks, right? But if you got $20 to spend on NFL bets, do not buy these picks. Do not buy my picks. Do not buy anybody. You just take the free picks on the show. Put $2 in or whatever you can. You might have to go offshore. Take that $20. Bet my first 9 games that I just said on the air. Bet $2 each, and hopefully we've got 25 or 30 by that. Get to the afternoon, and we'll roll it over with a few more. Then we'll go to Sunday night, and then come back and visit me to my new friend out there. Thanks everybody for joining me here on the morning steam. Appreciate you guys. Hope you had some fun with me today in that. And Burner, nice. Only bet what you can afford to lose. Lewis, thank you, Burner, Ray, everybody. Thank you. Hopefully, you have some fun with me each day. All right. Enjoy the games on Sunday. Get back here tomorrow morning's team, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central. I'll be awake and ready to go for Monday night and Monday Night Football and World Series. Tomorrow we're back. And don't forget, more programming on the channel. Weekdays, 11 East, 10 Pacific, Mindy and Tiffany.